Welcome back. I just finished a puzzle solving video and I feel pretty good about it, even though I didn't fully understand the last puzzle. So I decided to play a rapid game here on camera. My last rapid game, the video had a weird echo in the microphone. I just did a test video, so I'm pretty sure that there is no weird echo right now, but hopefully not. So my last one didn't get to go on YouTube other than the small analysis that I did afterward. Hopefully this one will make it to YouTube because again, I checked to make sure that the microphone is working correctly. I'm going to play a 10-minute rapid game. I'm rated 1220. If you're new here, my peak was 1359 when I was playing the D4 opening, and I got frustrated with D4, so I switched to E4, and then my rating plunged. It was already going down a little bit, but it went down a lot further when I switched, down into the 1100s. I just got it up above 1200 a few weeks ago. Let's see if we can go higher. I'm going to click play. You don't want any more introduction. I understand that. You're here to see me play. I'm going to play E4. And, all right, we got the Owen's defense. That's part of the hippo, I think. I'm going to go ahead and play knight to C3. And then D4. So now we're basically in a D4 opening, I think. All right. Yeah, they love to come out there and hit that knight, don't they? I suppose I could make them take it by pushing the A pawn, but then they might just drop back. I don't know. Oh, they took that pawn. Okay. That pawn was undefended, wasn't it? Because the knight's pinned. Let's go ahead and castle then. Maybe I should have played A3 first to see what my opponent wanted to do. Oh, at least I guessed what they wanted to do there, and therefore I am 10 seconds ahead on time. I guess I need to get my other bishop developed, get my queen off the back rank, and do something with these pawns. I really don't like being a pawn down that early, but I messed up. Again, not used to these E4 openings where they put a knight here. Also, I just switched back to knight to C3 rather than knight to F3, and then... Okay, they took their time with that one. I suppose I can put this here and then maybe drop this knight back. What is my opponent aiming at here? Oh, I just put the bishop right there. They're probably going to put the knight right here and attack that bishop immediately, aren't they? No, they're going to put it there and attack the bishop immediately. Oh, right. Well, let's put the queen here so we can take back when they take that bishop. Actually, I'm going to take back with this pawn, because if I take back with the queen, then they can get that pawn. So yeah, if they want the bishop now, they can have it. They wanted it, and they got it. But now I'm a minute ahead on time. So what are they going to do now? They're going to try to take that bishop? I mean, that knight? Probably not. If I were them, I would probably retreat that bishop to keep it safe before it gets caught up in something down here. But I'm not them, obviously. Otherwise, I would be a pawn ahead. They have castled. All right. Earlier when I had a bishop here, I was thinking about putting the knight there to challenge that bishop, but I don't have a bishop there anymore, so I don't know what to do. Let's just move some pawns. I guess I could just do this and see if we can force a trade, but maybe then they would move it back. I don't know. I know they spent a lot more time coming down here with their bishop and knight than they did developing any of their other pieces. Like that other knight of theirs is just sitting down there in the wasteland. But that is the way some people play, and sometimes people who play that way win games against me. They are also making much better use of their time than I am. So good job for Nope 48. All right. Don't know why we couldn't undouble our pawns this way, but maybe they heard what I was saying across the ether somehow and decided to get that knight out at that point. They did not want to help me undouble my pawns. All right. Good for them. I have no idea what to do. I suppose I could put this knight here and double a different set of pawns since I've already got doubled pawns. Let's see. Oh, no, wait. If I go there and they take and I take back, then this pawn's not protected anymore. So let's go ahead and take that pawn and then put this knight in here and see if they want to move my D pawn over to the E file. That pawn started on the C file, didn't it? I want to do this, but I think they're going to push first. I'm assuming they're going to push first, but maybe not. They have a whole extra pawn over there on the queen side. But again, they are taking their time. Wow, that took a long time to decide to move that B pawn. But maybe they're going to move it again now. I don't know. I think I should put a... Oh no, this rook's already on a semi-open file. Should I put this rook on an open file? I don't know. What? What does that do? That pawn wasn't in any danger, but I guess I could have threatened it with something. I don't know. Or maybe they were getting out of the way to help bring this rook to the party? Let's see. You know what? I'll just move this over and think about coming around this way. And also think about coming that way if they ever don't protect that pawn for some reason. I probably should have pushed here, but I didn't think about it. And yeah, oh yeah, good job. I don't know why we shouldn't trade another pawn here. They pushed right past it. Okay. And now they're going to put a rook behind it if they know what they're doing. No, they're going to put the pawn there to help cement it in place. Okay. Well, that took care of that, didn't it? Let's come over here and prepare to come down. And then we'll have to get behind that one way or the other. Or my opponent will continue taking about 10 seconds per move and beat me soundly. I don't know if they know how suspicious that looks. They might just be thinking about each move really hard. That might be what they're doing. Yep. Is it going to be 10 seconds again? No, it was a little faster than that this time. Good job. Yeah, honestly, I don't care whether I win or lose this game anymore. I'm just watching their clock to see how many seconds it takes per move, because it's gotten so distracting for me now. I don't have any choice there, do I? Ooh, they could drop right in here. That's what I would do, but I wouldn't take 10 seconds to do it. See if they do it. I think that's more than 10 seconds this time. Is that 12? Because I'll have to get my queen off that rank, and then they're going to win that pawn. But they're taking their time, making sure. So, you know, either good for them or really, really suspicious, man. Oh, they took that pawn. Okay. I guess that's okay too. Then I got this one. Now they can drop in there and get either one of those. Or I can check. Oh, they resigned. What? Oh my goodness. Dude, you blunder that big at the end after taking all that time and distracting me with your very consistent time usage. The list of moves there says their time usage wasn't that consistent, but it really felt consistent during the game, didn't it? I've probably edited out gaps and stuff, so maybe it doesn't. But yeah, it says at the beginning they played pretty quickly, but then 13, 11, 40 seconds, 14, 20, 30, 20, 10. Yes, it was after that that I started feeling like they were spending a lot of time on each move, right around in there. Yeah, 20, 30, 20, 10, 30, 12. But then they made a couple pretty quick. Then 51 seconds, 16, 15, 5, 2. Okay, they weren't as consistent as it felt like. But yeah, you blunder that big and then don't let me get the mate. You had to block. Game review. I felt like I made some mistake there. I just don't know where it was, but it was probably not paying attention to that pinned pawn. I mean, the pinned knight that let them have my pawn. It says I had one mistake and my opponent had one blunder. That's it. Oh, I had a bunch of inaccuracies though. 6 inaccuracies. But other than the inaccuracies, which is right here, look at that. All that time they were taking helped because their lead was growing and growing and growing and growing. And then they blundered at the end. My inaccuracy, I'm going to guess, oh no, that was a mistake. Okay. When they pinned my knight, I should have, I'm guessing, put the bishop there so I could have continued protecting this pawn. That's my guess. Because I mean, I guess I could have played bishop to d3. One of those two. Probably bishop to d3, because bishop to d2 would not keep protecting that pawn. If they took and I took back, then that pawn's still hanging in the middle on the e file. So I'm going to guess bishop to d3 would have been my better move there. But let's check to see what the line says. Bishop to d3 would have been slightly better, or e5 even. Okay, I didn't consider e5. Or knight to d2. Knight to d2. Okay, that would have guarded that pawn and unpinned that knight. Okay, I don't like knight to d2 because it would have blocked in my dark squared bishop, but I guess my dark squared bishop probably wasn't going to get out for a little bit. Okay, so that was a mistake. My opponent definitely did the right thing by, okay, there's two moves. Stockfish Light, so the not very good version for some reason of Stockfish 16 says either way, that's good and that's good. Because they're going to get the other one anyway. Yeah, their next move, whichever one they did, their next move would be the other one, according to those two lines. Okay, so they did the right thing by taking there, and I should have castled right now. Oh, I did. That was my best move. Okay, and now it's not in their interest to take here, is it? Oh, no, it popped in there. Now it's their best move. Okay, it took a few seconds, which explains why my opponent took a few seconds. All right, and of course I take back, and then they have several moves that are fine. They played the absolute number one best move there, and I should have immediately gone to pin that knight. Nope, it's changed. Stockfish changed its mind. Rook to e1. Okay, that's something that I keep forgetting since I've switched to e4, and it keeps coming up. But the few times that I have done it, it wasn't the right time. So that's going to take, I think that's just going to take some time for me to figure out when rook to e1 is the best move. But there were definitely a lot of times when Stockfish here will say, well, you know, you have to play that now. And I don't know why I have to play it now. And then, like I said, the times when I do play it, Stockfish says, well, that wasn't the right time to play it. Why did you do that now? And I don't know yet. But again, I haven't been playing e4 very long, so I'll eventually figure out when that's the best move. But my second best move would have been to challenge that bishop now because it's in here being irritating. And it says they wouldn't move it. They would just play d6 and let me take it. And then they would take with the knight. And then they would have an irritating knight in there. Oh, but then I would move the rook over and they would put it back. Okay. So yeah, I should have thought of that earlier, or I should have gone ahead and pinned this knight again. But instead I did that. Why did I do that? Well, because I wanted to develop it. That's why. And here they should have gotten their other knight out. Okay, I mentioned this at some point during the game that it felt like they just were using whatever pieces they had down here to try to do something to me instead of finishing their development. That's always frustrating because I'm still at the point in my chess learning that I'm still trying to figure out the right way to develop. And I keep having to just fend off attacks, 2 or 3 piece attacks. In this case, it was the 2 bishops. When I got rid of one of them, they're bringing their knight. So now it's just going to be the knight and their bishop. But what they should be doing is doing something with these pawns, bringing their other knight, getting castled. But instead they brought this knight, which didn't hurt them a lot, but it meant I had to do something. I did think about that, but I thought they would just play f6. Oh, it wants me to play f6. After they played f6, I would just bring the bishop back to d2, and then they would have played f6. But then they would castle, and then playing f6 wouldn't have mattered. And then I would play rook to e1. Okay, I don't get that. Or I could just play b2 now, bishop to d2 now, and then they would castle. You know what? I did think about playing c4 here, but I didn't know what good it would do. I figured they would still take here, and I'd have to take with the pawn. But I did that for unknown reasons. Oh, I think when I moved it, I thought I was defending the bishop, but then later realized I had to take with the pawn because my queen was guarding the c pawn, the rear c pawn, because I have more than one of them now. Yeah, it was their best move to take there, and my best move, actually Stockfish Light doesn't care whether I take with the pawn or the queen. Really, I thought taking with the pawn would be better because, again, I've got a c-pawn to worry about here. But no, and wait, it says if I took with the queen, they wouldn't take the c-pawn. They would put the bishop back. I think I mentioned that at some point during the game too. They might want to put that back. What would they have done if I had gone here? They wouldn't have taken that. What if they did? It would have been just fine. Because we're at 0.6. Look at that, 0.6, 0.5. Okay, now it says it. Nope, it dropped off again. Nope, there it is again. Okay, now it's 0.5 to do it. But once they do it, it's 0.6. 0.58 is 0.6. It rounds up, right? But you back up, and it doesn't think it's that good. Wait, it thinks it's better now. Nope, nope, it's the top move. I backed up twice, and it eventually moved that up to the top move. So yeah, that's why I didn't take with the queen. And I do know that between +1 and -1, Stockfish is often really, when there are multiple moves close to the same evaluation, it has a hard time deciding which one's better. But yeah, that's why I didn't take with the queen. Okay, that's why I took with the pawn here to continue protecting this c-pawn. I don't know that I would have needed it because I have a different c-pawn, a whole other c-pawn. Okay, their absolute best move was to castle, and my c4 wasn't horrible. It was one of my better moves. They should have played f5 now. Oh, because I don't have any pawns back here that can come up and threaten this bishop. They could just lock that bishop in place here. Okay, or d6. My opponent wasn't satisfied with d6. They just went ahead and cruised all the way to d5, which wasn't perfect, but they're still ahead, and I should have just taken it now. Oh, again, because I have another c-pawn. That makes sense. Or rook to c1? If I had played rook to e1 here, Stockfish would have said, or the game review would have said that was inaccurate, or a mistake even. But rook to c1, putting it behind 2 pawns, not on an open file, not on a semi-open file, not behind a passed pawn, but behind doubled pawns. The only thing I can think of is that would have been protecting here, or knight to e5. I did think about this, but not here. I think I thought about it a little later. What I thought about here was how irritating that bishop was getting, and so I did this, and that was okay. Was it their best move to trade? No, it wasn't. Knight to d7 or queen to e7, but I'm going to guess that it's their third best move, but I'm going to guess it was just fine. Yeah, and of course I take back. Now I have 2 sets of doubled pawns, so yay me. No, that's just 1 set of doubled pawns. It just looks doubled because of the diagonal. All right. And they should have taken here. Okay, here they did not play their ideal move, but they're still up just a little bit. And again, rook a to c1. Well, now it's not doubled, so I guess that makes sense. It was inaccurate for me to push this forward. I was trying to undouble here. I thought if they took, I would take, but no, it says what they should have done is pushed past. But they didn't. They did that, which is fine because the evaluation stays the same. What it's looking like is no matter what we do here, according to Stockfish Lite, we're staying about 0.6, 0.7, minus 0.6, minus 0.7. It was one of their best moves to take. Oh, sorry, it was one of my best moves to take. It's my turn, obviously. Okay, here they have an only move. Wait, I'm curious. How long did they spend on move 15? Okay, they did that one quickly. Okay, right here. Yeah, it says 1.8 seconds. That's the one where I took a while to make my move. But they took back quickly, so that wasn't one of the... That one would have been really suspicious because of how obvious it was that they had to take back there. But they did that one quickly, so good for them. Either one of my rooks to b1 or the a rook to c1. Okay, see, now c is a completely open file, so I understand. That makes sense now. I don't know why my top move is listed as blocking in my a rook by putting my f rook on b1. That's the one that says it's the best for me. I had one the other day where my rook was over here by my king, and it said to move the a rook over there to block in the rook that was next to my king so that my a rook would be on the e file. I don't remember what the exact position was, but that's what it said. I do remember I still had an f pawn here. So my f rook would have been stuck behind it. And it's like, why not e1? I mean, f to e1, but no, it was a to e1 was the important thing. And here it's like the opposite. Put the f rook on the b file so that the a rook can't move at all. I don't like that. Obviously I trap some of my pieces, including my king, all the time, but I don't like doing it intentionally. I do it accidentally, and it's usually bad, but this time it says that would have been best. Anyway, that was not great, and that pushed us past -1. Just barely past -1. Of course, they were supposed to take, and I was supposed to take back. I was still worried mostly about my doubled pawns here, and I was still very conscious that I had lost a pawn earlier on the e file, which is interesting. I lost my original e pawn. These aren't e pawns, right? That's an f pawn. This rear one is the f pawn. That one up there is the c pawn, isn't it? Or is it the b pawn? Because I took there with the b pawn. Wait, did that one go all the way across? I know that has nothing to do with the outcome of the game, but it's fascinating to me because I just realized that the e pawn was the first one that I lost, and I was conscious of being down a pawn, but I realized I have 2 e pawns now because other pawns jumped in there to fill that gap. So, good job, guys, or gals, whoever the pawns are here. One of their best moves was b5. My best move was d4. Yeah, there I was worried about them playing d4. Was that one of their best moves? Sorry, that's mine. Backing up. Sorry, was one of their best moves d4? I didn't back up far enough. No, it's not listed. That's their best move, or taking the file there, or coming over here with the queen. But d4 is not listed. Okay, well, that's what I was worried about, and they didn't play it, so I took it, and that was my best move. Now they are supposed to push their b pawn, but they pushed their queen to d7, and I didn't know why, and neither did Stockfish, but it didn't hurt them that much. Stockfish wanted them to go to e7, I guess to help protect here, again, or g5, which nobody knows what g5's doing, but they did that. Yeah, I wondered about that during the game. Okay, now again, it wants me to trap my a rook over there by putting the f rook on b1. It says moving the a rook out is not bad either, or playing a3. I didn't do those. I did this because I didn't know what else to do. They are supposed to push the pawn. And they're very, very slowly creeping up. You've noticed this, right? We were at minus 0.6 for a while, minus 0.7 for a while, minus 0.9. Now we're minus 1 point something. Yeah, I didn't play my best move here. I just noticed that if they took that, then they would no longer have a pawn on this open file. But what they should have done was pushed past it. And they did. Now, I have no idea why. It says to put one of my rooks on the c file. Now, I do understand it's an open file, but then that one's coming down, right? Oh, it can't come down yet. It can't come down yet. Because I was sitting here thinking, wait, if I put my f rook on the c file, that pawn can fork my 2 rooks. But my queen could take it if it did that immediately. But wait, what if I moved that rook there, and then they put a rook behind that pawn? Then what would I have done? That's not what it says would happen, but just out of curiosity. It says their best move is here, but what if they had played their second best move, which is this? Then I would have to come up here, and then they would play that. And I'm kind of stuck down here in the bottom, right? Okay, well, that didn't happen. I played there to get in front of the pawn. Now we're at minus 2 point something, almost 2.5. A4 was their best move. That was my best move. Okay, I finally took the open file, but I'm down almost -3 now. That was one of their 2 best moves. Ooh, king to F1 and king to F2. I don't know why, but I played my 3rd best move. So I thought, you know, if they take, I'll get a passed pawn and I can put a rook behind it. And they did take. It was their best move, and it was my best move to take back. And they should have played rook to C8 now, or queen to B5. Whoops, that's not B5. Rook to C8 or queen to B5 or rook to F8. Wait, they should have played rook to F8 now. Don't know why, but they played queen to C6, which helped me out a little bit because this was my best move. And here they started to mess up. They did not play one of those top 3 moves here. Rook to A5 was not among those. My 2 best moves were queen to D4, which, I mean, a queen would have been doing a lot of duty right there. And I know duty is a funny word sometimes, but yeah, that queen would have been really busy guarding all those squares. Or queen to C3, which is what I played. Because it looked like they were threatening, you know, this pawn, so now I'm protecting it. Rook to B5 was their best move. H3 was among my best moves. I didn't know what to do. I just played that. I was like, what do I do? These pieces are right where I want them right now, and this is the only thing I could move that wouldn't hurt anything. I can't move those 3 pawns, right? And I don't want to move this one. So it was one of these 2 was the only things I could think of. That turned out to be excellent. All right, good for me. And they should have played H5 or H6 or G6 right now. Are you serious? Okay, even Stockfish Light is a beast, apparently, because it saw already that I want this. I want one of my pieces right there to back rank checkmate them. And it says, no, play this now, or this, and it'll never happen. My opponent did not see that. They pushed here. I am supposed to get in front of it. And they should have taken here with their rook. They should have taken that with the rook. Taking with the queen was not among the moves because now I trade queens with them. And if they take back, I get that other pawn. And it was my best move to take the pawn. Now they need to play H5, H6, or G5. Look at that. These pawns need to get out of the way, but they didn't. Okay. I think that analysis was longer than the game itself. So good job, you, if you stuck with me through it. But I wanted to go through there. I probably spent too much effort thinking about my opponent's time usage, but during the game, it felt really consistently 10 to 20 seconds per move. It turned out that that was not the case, but it was distracting to me that they took so long on what seemed like some obvious moves, especially once they had a little bit of an advantage. And I think it was a little obvious during the game that they had a little bit of an advantage after I gave up that one pawn. But it turned out, at least my conclusion here, is that my opponent was just thinking about their moves, and they were thinking so hard about how to clear off my pawns and get another passed pawn for themselves. They thought they had a brilliant move here too, and just for a second, so did I, because they were about to get their A pawn passed. Plus, if they had taken this one, they would have had a passed D pawn. And I couldn't do anything about it except checkmate them because they never did move one of those pawns. So I think that's what happened, is they were thinking so hard about this passed pawn situation and the proper way to trade off those pieces that they left their king undefended or unable to defend itself. And I did not. That turned out to be the difference in this game, even though for most of it, my opponent outplayed me. And so good job, Nope 48. You did outplay me until this very last moment. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.